Welcome back, Mosh Pit Podcast. We are still in LA. This is our third day. Yesterday, did a podcast with Lexi Lane, and today I'm honored to interview and do a podcast with Frankie. And she has a couple bands. You have Frankie and the Studs, and what's the other one called?
The GORMANDIZERS.
The GORMANDIZERS?
Yeah, which is, it's a reference to CBGB for uplifting gormandizers. It's the G in the umfug.
Oh, shit. I love it. Yeah, I first time I saw Frankie, it was 2 years ago, actually, to the day almost.
Yeah.
I saw you for a Halloween thing at the Whiskey, and you did Rocky Picture Horror dressed up
as Frankenfurter. Yeah.
I still have videos from that. I'll have to show you.
Yeah.
I think it was like, I have a video of you when you were like crawling between your bassist legs. Yeah.
That was just me living out my fantasy, because Rocky Horror Picture Show is like my favorite movie of all time.
Yep.
And Joan Jett does a cover of Science Fiction Double Feature, which is a song from the movie. And so I heard that version. I was like, we got to do that version for Halloween.
Yeah.
And I was like, and everybody has to dress up like a character. And I just assigned characters. And I handed my drummer the like tiny gold spandex shorts. And he was like, okay, I guess this is my costume.
I know the outfits that night were awesome. Like you did the Rocky Picture Horror. Mm-hmm. Them Evils, all the guys. Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Saint Electric did Priest.
Yeah. Was it Ghost?
Or Ghost.
It was Ghost.
Priest.
Yeah.
Ghost. And that was the first time I met Brianna, which you guys know Brianna. Last time it came here, Brianna.
Oh, no way.
Tatted me.
Oh, that's rad. Yeah, she's super talented. Her tattoo art is awesome.
Yes. And it was, because if you ever come to LA, just go straight to the Whiskey. If you're like, I don't know what to do for the rest of the night, maybe just stay at home, just get a ticket. You find people you never heard of, and you find new artists that you'll listen to the rest of your life.
Yeah, and then you can just take a little stroll to the Rainbow, have a slice of pizza.
I still have the Frankie and the Studs sticker on my suitcase.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you did get one.
Yep. Yeah, and we're here in this dope-ass studio. I love it. Because like this trip, I was like, because I usually do pre-show interviews at venues and everything, but I was like, I want to go where you guys are comfortable, where you go and you're just in your own element.
Yeah, I like that you did that when you asked me. At first we were going to film in our lockout, but we're in the process of moving right now. But this is actually where we recorded our record, so it is a comfortable space.
It's nice because you don't have to be like, and like doing pre-show interviews, you're like taking the time like, wait, do you have stage call yet? Or like,
right. Yeah. I way prefer doing interviews not like before a show, because usually I'm like so scatterbrained before, like thinking about like, did I give everybody their set list? And like,
yes.
Does everybody know what time we're going on? Do I have to wrangle this person? You know?
Yeah, because like I'll be showing up to venues and like having the band show up like 3 hours before, just to have a nice little slot where they're comfy and they have sound check done.
Yeah.
I'll always be like, all right, you guys have everything you guys need. You're all dressed, on your makeup, everything.
Yeah.
And it's,
that's awesome that you're considerate.
Very considerate. And when bands get stressed out, there's been times where I've had bands go, can we just do it after? I'm like, if you're comfortable doing it after, we can, or we can reschedule. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Very artist friendly over here.
Yeah. In your bands, what got you into music, like starting Frankie and the Studs and your projects and all that?
Yeah, so my first introduction to music was, my dad is a musician. He plays guitar, and I just grew up like going to shows with him, going on tour. I would like skip school and go join him on tour. So I kind of got the bug pretty early on, just seeing, like, watching side stage. I mean, like, seeing my mom work a 9-to-5 job and then seeing my dad do that. I'm like, I want to do that. But I didn't like get the idea to start a band until I saw the movie The School of Rock. That really inspired me because I was a little kid when that came out, and I was like, if those kids can rock, so can I. And And so yeah, I started my first band when I was 10 years old. We were called Sweet Gone Sour, and it was an all-girl band. And my dad was like, "You guys should cover Cherry Bomb." That was an all-girl band, but probably not appropriate for 10-year-olds to be singing. We didn't know. We had no idea. We thought we were singing about cherries, you know?
Yup. We're just over here, just 10 years old. Cherry Bomb.
Exactly. And then with Frankie and the Studs, I was in college at the time, and I was like really into glam rock, and I was doing a fashion blog at the time, and my whole fashion blog was about like intertwining the relationship between music and fashion, and I felt like they go hand in hand for a lot of artists. And so I was like, I haven't like put out any music. I just kind of like write on my own time, and I just started by putting out a cover of Hot Child in the City by Nick Gilder on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I started getting asked to play shows, and I was like, oh, I got to put a band together. Because I just recorded it with like, here actually, with my dad and a couple of his friends. And so then I just started asking around, and I was like, hey, I have a show. It was at Los Globos, a place in like Echo Park. Mm-hmm. And, I put together this band, and it became Frankie and the Studs.
That's awesome, because you have like, I remember the first time I heard you, I was like, you have such a distinct voice.
Oh, thank you.
And it's hard to find that in some music nowadays, because everybody, like, you can listen to one band and then go listen to the other, and they kind of sound very, very similar. Mm-hmm. But listening to you have such a distinct style, distinct voice, and like, I like how you like meshed it in with like fashion and stuff like that, because I know a while back you did like a partnership with like Forever 21.
Yeah, it was actually just last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, I know it feels like a long time ago, but it was last year.
It's been a long year.
It's been a long year. Yeah, this year, yeah.
Because like this is my first year doing podcasts. I post every single week with different bands.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like doing this for a full year, doing all that, I lose track of time.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Getting into what was like your first live experience? What was your first show?
Oh, so probably when I was a kid, we'd play in like my garage when I was in Sweet Gone Sour. Well, I think that was my first show. But I think like the first time I really realized like that I was comfortable on a stage was with Frankie and the Studs, and I think that was because in my other bands I just played guitar. Mm-hmm. So this was my first time being a front person in a band, and it was we had one show at Los Globos. It was kind of like we played like 3 or 4 songs, and we were just playing covers because we were brand new. I put together the band just for the show. Yeah. But then that band got in the room and we started writing songs together, and our first real show was at Lucky Strike in Hollywood. And I remember just like some wave coming over me that I was like somebody else. Like I felt like I became someone else on stage. And after the show, my mom and like all my friends that were there were like, what happened? Because I'm like pretty shy and quiet in everyday life. And then like some wave came over me of like possession. And I let out this whole other beast that I guess lived inside of me.
Oh yeah, that I've heard like, because like this whole weekend and all November is like these like female vocals that I've heard in LA that just like blow my mind. And it's also like different styles. Like Lexi Lane has a totally different style from you have a totally different style from Fatalist has a different style from Saint Electric, and it's just like it's like a whole mesh of things. That why I like coming here, because you get that diversity you can't really see anywhere else.
Yeah, I feel like LA is interesting in that way because it is such a big city. There isn't really like one scene. It's kind of like there's a bunch of different scenes and there's something for everybody, and I think that's how all these different, it's like diverse for bands too, because you can involve yourself in so many different avenues here. Yes.
And like I like getting into like your style too. It's like what goes into like getting like creating your outfits like to go on stage and doing all your makeup, because you have such a distinct, you change your style all the time, and I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny because at first I started with, I had my uniform, which was a black pleather jumpsuit and I was playing homage, of course, to Joan Jett and Susie Quattro and all the 70s glam stars that I love. But at a certain point, I think it was like not until like around COVID that I was like, I think I've moved on from the uniform, and I think it's time to, play around with different looks.
Yes.
And also, like, I had so much time on my hands during COVID that I learned how to do my own makeup, which I would like before I knew how to do like one look. And so I just played around a lot, and I would like do these videos on Instagram and stuff of just doing different looks and playing around with it. And then I kind of just like channeled that into now playing live. And also like getting ready for a show is like my zen time. Like I really enjoy like getting into character, and like I listen to music, put on my makeup, pick out my outfits, and it's really like just getting into character.
Yes, it is. Like I know vocalists that just like go in the bathroom like while they're about to get announced, and they legit will dunk their head in like the sink and just put water all over it and shake their head and like yell at themselves.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah,
and they just come out and like they'll go on stage and they don't even make eye contact with anybody. They're looking like through you or above you. And you're just like, all right, you are not you right now.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I had that moment where one of my really good friends I've known since I was like 2 years old, we played on stage together at the Whiskey, actually. It was like a jam night thing, and she was playing bass and I was singing, and she said when I walked on stage, she looked at me in the eyes and she was like, you were gone. Like I didn't see my friend there anymore.
Yes. I've even been like that too. Sometimes when I like just me as a fan going to a show, I have friends that legit, so like there's certain bands where they'll be like, you are not you. You turn into this other person that just is there for them and giving them all your energy. And like, yeah, that's legit how I am, like with mainly Korn. Like my friend was like, we're in the back at Aftershock, and he goes, you're not gonna make it up to the front, it's so far up there. And I was like, watch. It was like 5 minutes before they go hit stage. Right when they hit their first note, he's like, where the fuck did Chris go? And I was already
just automatic. You're just being drawn like a magnet to the front of the stage.
It was like I'm just like a what do you call it, mosquito, just like going towards the light, just like
I know that feeling.
Because like there's certain bands that you derive with that just like bring you back to childhood. And that's like one of my bands where like I just like I still have my iPods and MP3s with the same albums
that's rad.
on it.
That's super cool.
Because I'm very nostalgic. Like I do vinyl collecting, I do cassettes and CDs and all these stuff. Not 8-track, sadly, but can't really find much of those.
Yeah, they're a little harder to find.
What's like your band that you mostly connect with that's just like brings you back to childhood?
Green Day.
Green Day?
For sure. Yeah. I actually got to see them. I didn't get to see them on the tour that just happened because I had a residency with the Gormandizers, and we were playing every Saturday night, and anytime Green Day was nearby LA, I was playing a show. But I did get to see them at the Echoplex, which was insane. And I started crying because it just brought me back to being a kid and hearing American Idiot for the first time and hearing it front to back like that, like in track order.
Yes.
It was such a special experience. And then also hearing Dookie, which for me, I first was introduced to American Idiot and then went back and listened to Dookie. But yeah, that for me, Green Day is like, I feel like that was a pivotal moment in my life when I first heard American Idiot, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. And it was around the same time that I saw School of Rock too, so I think one of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar was American Idiot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like getting into podcasting beforehand, I was just like, I always knew I wanted to be in the music industry. I just did it. I needed to find where I fit.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, is just finding where you fit in this, like in a community with a bunch of different aspects. You have videographers, photographers,
right,
podcasters, radio, musicians, bookers, all these different people, and like you just had to find where you fit. And like I didn't know until Katie Babs from SiriusXM Octane. She saw me talking to a band, And she was like, she walked up to me and she goes, "You don't talk to a band like a fan does." I was like, "Really?" And then she was like, "You like to dissect."
Mm.
And I was like, And she's like, "You could do this, blah, 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 blah." She's like, "Just get a camera and do it." And I was like, "Oh, simple." And then, nah, not that simple. But not that simple. But I just wanted, like, with this project, it took, like, a few bands for me to find my niche.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I just wanted to bring back that MTV style feel.
Yeah.
Like, legit, like, MTV, like, My Crib or behind the scenes at venues, shit like that. And, like, I remember I've had a few bands that just, like, hit me up. They go, "Let's do virtual." And I'm like, I don't do virtual. And like I said before, I don't hate on virtual. It's just my style of being in person. Like, at your studio or at a venue is just, I want to bring that MTV feel back.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I definitely like talking to you. Normally for interviews, I get super nervous. I don't know. I'm not very good at public speaking and things like that, but I feel very comfortable.
Yeah, I always try and make people comfortable, and like I invite everybody, and even no matter how big or how little you are, if your art is good and you show that you're putting in that work, that's all I care about.
Yeah, right on.
Because I've met people that legit tell me that they do it for the wrong reasons, or they just don't love it. They just have these different feelings for it. But it's just, when I do this, it just brings me a sense of peace to get to document part of my life and to document a part of an artist's life.
Yeah.
And then also sharing that moment with that artist.
Yeah.
Because it's just now, like, this right now is a part of both of our lives. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like, what is, like, a moment you could look back at that just, like, defines your, like, love of music in a sense? Like, how could I word it? What's a show you would like to relive?
Oh, okay. So, I think it was 2018. I'm so bad with like dates and remembering with him. I think it was 2018. We went on tour with The Long Shot, which, back to Green Day, was fronted by Billy Joe. And for me, like, having that acknowledgement from one of my heroes was like insane, and I still can't really process it. But there was a show we played with The Long Shot in Seattle at a venue called Chop Suey. And it was my favorite show just because the energy in that room was insane. And it was, I mean, also, like, being from LA, shows here are fun, but there's so many all the time that people are a little, like, I don't know, they don't get, like, as excited to see us, especially because we play here all the time. So it's cool to go somewhere new, and there's, like, this new energy. And one of the moments that sticks out the most to me was I had this song that I put out called Teeth on that tour, and this young girl came up to me after the show, and she was like, "I felt like you wrote that song about me, for me." And I was like, wow, that was like such a personal something that happened to me in my life that I actually, somebody once said to me, they're like, "I don't understand why you need to write a song that's so dark when there's so much darkness in this world." I'm like, that moment right there is exactly why, because people can share and not feel alone in that feeling. And yeah, that was definitely a special moment for me. And like, okay, this is why I love doing what I do, because you can connect to other people and something that you felt like nobody could relate to, but you know.
Yes. That's why I'm one of those people that, like, I will let you show me your music, and I will never hate on anybody's music taste, because everybody has their own taste, and it speaks to them in a way that they can relate.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for me, another band that like I love is Paramore, and some people are surprised by that because they think of Paramore as like a pop band, but I'm like, I was there from the beginning. Like, as a kid, I feel like I grew up with Haley, and that's why it means so much to me. I'm like, I feel like when she went through heartbreak, like, I then understood what she was feeling because I went through heartbreak, and you know, it was just like I felt connected to her. And I think that's such a powerful part of music, is connecting with people and being able to feel what other people are feeling through music is insane.
Yes. Like, when I, what's a song that I've heard that, like, Daddy by Korn.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard that, I was emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Very emotional. I was just like, damn, who fucking hurt my boy Jonathan Davis? Like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Because I was always, in school, I was like the first emo kid. Like, I was emo in elementary. And, like, I was always wearing band shirts. And it wasn't until middle school where now other people were starting to wear band shirts and stuff like that. And it was cool in, like, high school because I had, like, people that I wasn't friends with, but they would always hit me up and be like, what are shows that are happening? Is there anything like this, anything like that? And now I have friends that hit me up still, and they go, I am not surprised you're doing what you're doing. And
That's awesome.
It's like, and like having people, as a podcaster, you don't really expect to have people that walk up to you and go, oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. But I've had that a few times happen, and it's weird. And it's different, especially when like someone walks up to you that you've never met a day in your life, and you're just like, they're like, I know you, but you don't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. I think about that all the time because I listen to podcasts like all the time, and I feel like I know these people, and like if I saw them out and about, I'd be like, hey.
Yeah. What's up, bro? How you doing? Yeah. Remember that thing you did last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I started going to shows when I was 11. And I just never stopped, always stayed in love with it. And it's a drug. Mm-hmm. I'm always called a concert junkie. I think I've been to like 30 shows this year.
Oh, wow.
Just this year.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a whole month of shows.
Yes. Yes, it was, because I think January I did 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was just, from there on forward, it was just... I haven't asked this question in a while, but what is your favorite post or pre-show meal?
Oh, I'm a post-show meal person.
See, I know some people are different. They like to eat before, but some people, I'm after. I like post.
Yeah, me too. I think before, especially singing, like, you know, it can be a little like, you don't want to have heartburn or anything. Yeah. Pizza or actually, I think this is my answer. Street tacos. Like, tacos. Yeah, taco trucks. That's my move. Up
in NorCal, whenever I do a show, I go, because, like, I'm, like, right around the corner from an In-N-Out where I live. Mm-hmm. So I'll either go to In-N-Out or I'll go to, like, a burrito spot.
Yeah.
That's just my go-to because, like, I've told this on the podcast before, but, like, when you do work shows, you get out at like 1 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not much open.
Not much at all. And like, you have a choice. Either I'm gonna grab food or go home and try to use the rest of my energy to make food.
Yeah, right. Which normally that doesn't happen.
Never does. You tell yourself, you're like, today I'm gonna save money, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna make myself this, and you're like, and you got a show, you're like, no. Just go to the drive-thru. Just go to the drive-thru.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it's going to be a Taco Bell night. But yeah, there's a shout out Leo's Tacos in LA. Leo's Tacos is
Leo's
great.
Tacos. If
you get a chance to go, you should go.
I will definitely probably get that tonight.
Yeah, go
Leo's
for it.
Tacos. Talking about stories of what it's been like being here this time. Yesterday, you've been to the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Went last night, saw Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. I love them. Bad Friends podcast as well. Like, just awesome people. But I went to do you smoke?
No.
No? You're not a smoker?
No.
So I went to The Woods by Woody Harrelson, and I told you this before, but it was just like, this experience was just insane because they had a lounge, and most people that watch this, NorCal, we don't really have that. And it's like a jungle theme. So if you ever come out here, go to there, because I was just sitting in this couch, just like, people were talking to me. I'm like, I listen to you, but I'm just in my different element right now. Because I don't really get those options a lot, especially going to shows, because I don't like getting fucked up at shows.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to be like, well, don't buy Chris, he's gonna get shit faced, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Yeah, I've done it early when I was like starting this stuff. I used to be like that, but I don't, because I've just had times where I'm just like, now I'm just not operable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't. I stopped drinking recently, like 2 months ago, but I could never drink before performing for some reason. Like I tried once, and it was like I had never seen a guitar before. Like it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, kudos to people that can do it, but I could not.
Yeah. By the way, congrats on
Thank you.
not drinking.
Thank you.
I commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I probably should do the same. Yeah, I know bands that just like get a rash before a show.
Mm-hmm.
I legit know a guitarist, he'll take 1,000 milligrams of edibles and just walk on stage. I'm just like,
that's impressive.
How you operate. I would be so paranoid on stage, just like, people are looking at me.
Yeah, I could not. Yeah, I haven't taken them in a while, but I used to take edibles to sleep.
Yeah.
And one time I was like, I'm gonna take this and go see a movie, and it was that movie Old by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was not a good idea. I felt so weird being out in public and seeing that movie of all movies.
Yes. I remember one time my buddy came from Idaho to visit, and he and I were like, all right, Willy Wonka just came out. And we're like, screw it, let's take mushrooms and go watch Willy Wonka. Best experience ever.
Yeah,
if you don't like the movie, I guess you could do that. But it was just like, we're just sitting there in the movie theater, and we have these ones that like recline and stuff. You're just sitting there just like smiling the whole time. We're like, they're singing a lot. It's a lot of colors. Oompa Loompa comes out of nowhere. You're like,
oh shit. Oh my god. I would imagine that's an experience. I saw that sober, but I was like, I mean, it was a trip.
Very much so, very much. Because I was just like, I didn't know it was going to be like a musical kind of vibe.
Yeah, that took me by surprise as well.
Yeah, kind of like the Joker,
yeah,
the new one.
Yeah,
the straight musical.
Mm-hmm.
What's a movie you what's your favorite movie?
Well, Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I think a close second is Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I love like glam rock musicals.
Oh, glam rock music. Yeah.
I do love a good musical, but like in those ones, the music is so good, and I recently actually discovered Hedwig and the Angry Inch because I was such a fan of Rocky Horror. I would go on Saturday nights. They have the midnight showing at the New Art in Santa Monica, and I would go all the time and see previews for Hedwig and the Angry Inch, that they were going to do a Hedwig night there as well. And one of my friends was like, you haven't seen that? And I was like, no, is it good? And they're like, oh my, it's going to change your life. Like, it's your new favorite movie. And yeah, I love it. I actually did a cover of one of their songs I put it out on my birthday, and my friend that I collaborated with, Travis Bacon, we have the same birthday. And so we put out a cover of Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Wicked Little Town, and all the proceeds we donated to the LGBTQ center in LA. And it was super fun to like dress up as the character and
yes,
and sing that song because I love it so much.
I love how you did like a benefit show. I love those things. I always tell bands up in NorCal, I'm like, we need to start doing more benefit shows, because that's how music used to be.
Yeah.
It was all for people in need. It was for the degenerates, the misfits, the people going through like cancer and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why I always like push the Fuck Cancer Foundation. I'm a very big advocate of them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just, I'll put the link to the Fuck Cancer Foundation down here. And if you know any other foundations that you would like me to push in the future, comment down below, because it's just like, this world is getting crazier and crazier every day. Yeah. And there's just so much shit to be going on for us to just hate each other. I don't get it at all. I don't. Like, you maybe see me in the pit and you're like, oh, he's an angry person. But I'm very just like, hi, how you doing? Yeah.
I think it was Joey Ramone had some quote about that was like, punk rock isn't about like being angry. It's about like having passion.
Yes.
I'm probably butchering that quote, but to me, that's what I understood of it. And I feel that way all the time. Like, it's not even like about being pissed off or being angry or hateful, or it's not about that at all. It is about passion.
Yes. And it's just like, if you think you love it and you do it, it's just, you'll have this feeling that I talk about this with other artists. There's this feeling that you can't describe.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to describe. It's like almost like the first time of being happy again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, every time you put out a project that you love, it's just that same feeling again of that, just like, oh my gosh, I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, I also want to talk about like your most recent single, Bimini.
Yeah, Bimini. Yeah.
What was like the creation behind that? Like, what was your thought process writing that?
So I was working with a friend at the time. We were collaborating and writing songs like once a week, every week. And that song, I was watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race at the time. This was also during lockdown, and I had never watched it before, and I got super into it. And that at that time there was this UK season with Bimini Bon Boulash, and I was obsessed with them. And I just kept saying their name around the house. And my friend and I wrote a song, and I gave it at first I gave it the place title of Bimini, Ode to Bimini Bon Boulash. And we didn't have lyrics or anything yet. There was like kind of a few sparse lyrics, and that kind of shaped the song, was having that placeholder title.
Yeah.
And it just became this song about like self-expression and kind of like what I was talking about earlier with like putting on makeup and feeling like yourself, or like putting on a different outfit and like expressing a different side of you that you wouldn't normally present every day. But yeah, and it's so funny because everyone's like, what does that title have to do with anything? And then I have to, I'm like, oh, so it's Bimini Bon Boulash.
Now you can just say.
I can just say it all the time.
Yeah. Now you can just be like, hey, just go to Mosh Pit Podcast. I'll explain it there. I'm not going to explain it anymore.
I'm happy to explain it though.
But I love it because I'm a very big, like, see, I grew up on, like, watching, like, MTV music videos. Mm-hmm. I'm a very big music video person. I love how, like, you did, like, your music video setups are just very, like, retro, nostalgic vibes.
Oh, thank you.
And
yeah.
I love it. Did you, like, always wanted to go for that kind of style? That, like, glam, like...
For sure.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And also very DIY.
Very DIY, but it's some people don't realize that you don't have to spend like $5-10 grand on a music video.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you can, I mean, with iPhones now, like, it's so easy that you could just be like, get a friend and be like, hey, can you shoot this for me?
Yes. It's not that hard to do the simplest things, even if, like, you're just like, oh, well, I'm a solo artist, how am I gonna, like, do all this stuff? It's just, like, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
If you like it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because you never know who's gonna like it. This world is full of billions of people.
Yeah.
And I've had crazy experiences with, like, people that like my stuff and follow me from, like, Germany.
Oh, wow.
And, like, Canada and Australia, Switzerland. It's just, like, it's interesting when you find out who relates with you. Mm-hmm. Because that's what we do this for.
Yeah.
I mean, I do podcasting to have people relate and get to know their artist that they love, or get to hear an artist that they never heard before and hear their story and go, let me go listen to them. Yeah. That's just what I love doing. Getting into, like, what was your greatest, like, accomplishment of 2024?
2024. Oh. I would say I finished my first full-length album.
Oh, full-length album. That's awesome.
Which is crazy because we've been a band for so long, but it's been through so many different iterations of the band, of like band members who I'm still cool with, all of them, but it's just that, you know, schedules and everyone gets busy doing other things, and so it's kind of become me, and then, like, you know, whoever is available to play can be a stud. Yeah. But actually this past year has been awesome because the group that I have feels like a band. Like, everybody is really motivated to be a band, and that was when it felt right to like, okay, I think this is the time to put out a full length.
Yeah.
And we put out EPs before, singles here and there. We've just put out so many singles. So this is going to be like, you're going to see some older stuff mixed with newer stuff, remastered, remixed stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's kind of like if the Studs had a thesis statement, that's what this would be.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I know a few good amount of bands that like do stuff like that. People get confused by that, but it's like they're their own artists. They're doing what they want to do and how they want you to perceive them as.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
yeah,
you can't hate on that, because I just hate how like all these like old school stuff is reviving. You got like Warped Tour and Mayhem Fest coming back, and then like certain bands like reviving. You got like Linkin Park and all that stuff too, and like there's so much controversy now in music, and it doesn't make sense. Because it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Because that's why I never hate on any music. It's because of that. Because it's just the artist wants to do what the artist wants to do, and they're going to do it either way, so why hate on it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for us too, it was like, you don't want to do something just because you feel like you have to either. Like it felt right in this moment. And I'm like, okay, I think I always felt like this pressure, like, oh God, I got to put out a full length album. But things weren't really lined up for that at the time. And now they are. So perfect timing.
Yeah. Are you one of those people, because I'm like that, is like where you want to do something, you see something, and you're like, all right, I can do that, but do I really want to do that? And you're like, well, if I do that, I want to do it right now. Like, yes, I'm very, like with this LA trip, I started setting this up last week. When Brianna texted me and she was like, hey, we're trying to do something. Can we have you, like, could you come, if you're willing to come out? And I was like, let me hit up some people.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. Actually, earlier this year in January, we opened a show with Glenn Matlock, and we found out the night before that we were going to play that show. And it was in San Francisco, actually.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that night we got the call, and they were like, we don't have an opening band. Would you guys want to play? And we're like, let me just call my band members and make sure no one has to work, or they can get tomorrow off work. And we're like, let's go. All right, let's do it.
I love those last minute trips. It's like my most favorite thing. Like, I've had so many people from up north call me this week, and they're like, hey, you coming out this weekend? I'm like, I'm in LA. They're like, what are you doing in LA? I'm like, you know me, okay? I'm just scattered everywhere, because like I've even told bands and like artists up there know, and they're like, what do you like? We have more bands up here, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to travel. I'm a very big, like, I've interviewed bands from like all across, and it's just like, I want to go experience what they experience where they're from.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. Yeah, I never like to sit still for too long either. I love to travel. Like, if I've been in LA too long, I'm like, oh, I feel like I need like a dose of inspiration somewhere else.
Yes, that's why I do this. And I always tell bands to do the same thing, like, because some bands, they get comfortable in one spot or a few venues, and they stay there, and they're like, oh, we're big, we're doing great, but then you go play somewhere else that you've never played before, that gives you that like confidence back of just, like, and that gives you that nervousness too. Yeah That's what I love about the traveling part, is like that nervousness, like, all right, I've never been in this spot, filmed at this location.
Totally.
It's a whole new experience, and you just like, you get those like first time jitters again. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah, that's why I love touring too.
You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's the guy at? Did we check in? We checked in, right? Do we need a wristband? I think we got okay, we need to get a wristband. Okay. We're just sitting there like, I don't know anybody here.
Totally.
And then the end of the night, everybody's like, hey, how you doing?
Like all those nerves.
Yep. That's just like, it's the experience of traveling, and that's what I love about it, and that's why hopefully next year I can do a Mosh Pit Podcast tour.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Yes.
That'd be super cool.
Yes, I want, either I'm going to just do my own, or go on a tour with a band and interview every local openers. Yeah. And like just do that and just have fun with it. And you guys know how I am. I'm just like random. Very, very random. But like now getting into like 2025, what do you have looking forward to?
Putting out the album.
Putting out the album.
Putting it out there. And also touring. I really want to get back out there. I like what we were just talking about. I've been playing in LA for so long. I'd love to get that new energy of playing somewhere else and meeting new people and feeling nervous again.
Yes.
That nervous excitement. That's like a great feeling.
Yes, because like that's why I came out here, because I realized I was filming in the same spots I always film at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's why I didn't want to film at venues when I came down here. I wanted to have it at their studios because I filmed at the Whiskey, I filmed at House of Blues and other places here, and I'm just like, I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something different.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I came out here, because I needed that dosage of just what, when, how, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like me like, hey, like hitting up the venue owner, just going, hey, I'm gonna be there this week. All right, cool. And just like that. It's like, all right, we got everything scheduled. All right, cool. Everything's on time. Wow. Except LA, you're just like, all right, 22 minutes, we're good.
Yeah,
and then you get in the car.
Into an hour.
Yeah, it turns out you're like,
to go 5 miles.
Yeah, I know. I think it was like the first day here. I was heading towards the Whiskey to go do a show, do photography and videography for Spam Parabellum, and Burning Witches was headlining. And my family calls me and goes, oh, you're driving to the Whiskey, how far is it? And I was like, 45 minutes. And they're like, oh my gosh, how many miles is it? I was like, 6. like
welcome to LA.
Yeah, right. It's like, and I'm back. Like, I love LA so much. It's the traffic that like reminds me of like, all right, oh, I see why.
Yeah, you get used to it though. It's just part of the everyday life. You always account for it.
I know the Canadians I met last night, they're like, oh, these people are so mean. They're so dry. I was like, you guys from Canada, right? I was like, you guys traffic. Someone almost hit you. Probably just go, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank you so much for like talking to me, and I want you to give you the time to promote all the stuff you have from both of your bands, both of your projects, and everything like that. So go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah.
Upcoming shows? Do you have any upcoming shows or anything like that?
Yeah. The Studs are playing November 2nd, so next week, at the Redwood, downtown LA. We're playing with a band called the Hellflowers, who are super cool. And then that's it for this year in LA, but we are going to Europe and the UK in December, which will be fun. So time to go play somewhere new. And then the Gormandizers, we're playing at the Canyon Club on November 21st.
21st?
Yeah. And then the Yamava Casino on November 20th, which I've never played a casino before, so I'm very excited about that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So it just smell like straight cigarette smoke.
Exactly.
Sorry, I know if I'm in the casino, I'm just like walking, just like, all right, back at grandma's house, let's go.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, they're feeding us. And
yes.
It is gonna be a very luxurious experience.
It's like, we got a buffet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wait, we get to eat? Oh.
I'm gonna get waffles and a slice of pizza just for the fuck of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like, what, if you could play any festival next year, like Mayhem, Sick New World, Aftershock, Louder Than Life, any festival, what festival would you play?
Ooh, I'm trying to think of all of them. I'd love to play, I think just being from LA, Coachella.
Coachella?
One day I'd like to play there just because I was in high school. I was voted most likely to play main stage at Coachella. So I feel like I just have to fulfill that prophecy.
That'd be a dope promo. Just like your picture with the thing below it, just like
it's
going
in the yearbook, yeah.
And then just like pan it over to you on stage at Coachella.
Yeah, that's really like the number one reason why.
Well, anybody, because I think Golden Voice runs it, right? Mm-hmm. Golden Voice.
Yeah.
If you're watching, here you go.
Let me show all my high school friends that I made it. Disappoint them.
Yeah, we'll have to. I know my ways around festivals. We'll figure it out.
I mean, I'd love to play any festival, really. We played Lollapalooza a long time ago when we first started out. But yeah, I want to get into that circuit for sure. The Vans Warped Tour is coming back.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Because I know they, what's his name? Kevin? Something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's doing like he said he's doing like a Battle of the Bands thing.
Oh.
For entries. So,
Maybe we need to enter.
But thank you so much again. All of her links and both bands, everything will be down here below. So like go follow, like watch. Even if you watch it once, watch it again. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
And it's not going to disappoint you. Even if you watch the music video, you're going to be like, oh, this is dope.
Be walking around Burbank eating donuts.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. We'll catch you next week, Mosh Pit. Later.